Alright, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with an event announcement out of Deep Jewels. So, the Japanese all-women mixed martial arts promotion has announced the tentative lineup for Deep Jewels number 32. Now, this is going to go down on Sunday, March 7th at approximately 1800 local time or 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to go down at Korakuen Hall in Tokyo. Now, I've mentioned this before, Korakuen Hall is kind of like the mecca of Japanese mixed martial arts. Now, a lot of people will say, no, it's obviously Saitama Super Arena. That's where Pride was, K1, all that, blah, blah, blah. Look, if all you watch is the big JMMA promotions, then, okay, Saitama Super Arena. But if you watch, like, the smaller Japanese shows like Pancrase, Shudo, Deep Jewels, a whole bunch of other ones. They've all had big, important events for them at Korakuen Hall. It is also known for having a lot of Japanese pro wrestling events there. So, really, the real spiritual center of Japanese mixed martial arts, I think if you ask a lot of like hardcore JMMA fans, it has got to be Korakuen Hall. Now, there are 9 tentative bouts scheduled for this event with a strawweight title bout headlining. We'll get into that more in a little bit. So, let's go ahead down with the lineup. First up is going to be a minus 53 kilogram amateur kickboxing bout scheduled for 2.5 minutes. It's going to be between Sarah and Regina. I don't know anything about these two. It's an amateur kickboxing bout. Deep does have their deep kick events, so in addition to MMA, they sometimes hold kickboxing events, and I think they're putting this one on here just to break up the monotony of MMA. Then the second fight is going to be a minus 51 kilogram or 112.2 pound semi-pro bout scheduled for 2 3-minute rounds between MOMOKA YOSHIKAWA and Karen Horii. Again, this is another bout. I don't know anything about these two, other than that they're technically amateur fighters, so this is like a semi-pro bout, meaning like no headgear and stuff. Then for the first pro bout, we have a strawweight bout scheduled for 2 5-minute rounds, scheduled between Yuko Amoeba Oya, coming in at 9 and 8, and Shoko Fujita, who is going to be making her pro debut. Now, Amoeba is 33 years old, one of the elder fighters on this card. She's coming off of a 3-fight losing streak. She last fought to a unanimous decision loss at Deep Jewels 30 in October. Fujita, on the other hand, is a lot younger. She's making her pro debut. Now, she has a 1-2 amateur career, but her last fight, she scored a unanimous decision win over Kate Lotus back at Deep Jewels 31 in October. Kate Lotus just came off of her pro debut win at the last Deep Jewels event, Deep Jewels 31. Moving on, we have a flyweight bout scheduled for 2 5-minute rounds between YUKARI Nabi, coming in at 8, 3, and 1. She's taking on Miko Nirvana Shimizu, coming in at 2 and 0. Now, both of these fighters are coming in off of 2 straight wins. Nabe last fought in December of 2019 at Road FC in Korea, picking up a unanimous decision win over Rowan Pilger. Miko Nirvana, on the other hand, coming in off of a unanimous decision win over the much more experienced Mika Arai at Deep Jewels 31 last month in December. Then we move on to the main event, a strawweight title bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. The champion, Miki Motono, coming in with a record of 5 and 2. She's taking on Seika Izawa, coming in at 2 and 0. Now, this is a rematch from Deep Jewels 31, a non-title bout, where the champion, Miki Motono, was beaten in a huge upset by Izawa. Now, going into that bout, it was scheduled as a non-title bout with the stipulation that if Izawa won, she would get a rematch against Miki Motono. And here you go. We have it in the very first event of the new year. Izawa getting a chance to fight for the gold this time. For Motono, this is a chance at, revenge, to show that, oh, the first fight was a fluke. I shouldn't have lost that fight. It was a very close fight, their first fight. Izawa getting a lot of good body kicks in and using her reach and length very well. So this should make for a very good one. And, Izawa, I named her in my year-end awards as a prospect to watch in 2021. We'll see if she makes that come true just in January alone, picking up 3 straight wins and a title to boot. Now, if you're thinking, well, you said there were 9 tentative bouts scheduled. There are, even though I only listed a few of them. There's going to be 4 Atomweight Grand Prix quarterfinal bouts, probably mixed in throughout this card. Now, they haven't announced the bouts yet, but they have announced the participants. It's going to be Otoha Nagao, Shiyu Park, Hikaru Aono, Sakura Mori, Ayam Murakami, Emi Tomomatsu, Saori Oshima, and Mizuki Oshira. Now, as I said before, those matches are going to be decided by random draw at a later date. Okay, so that is it for the lineup for Deep Jewels number 32. And like I said, this goes down on Sunday, March 7th. Should be available online via online pay-per-view through Deep Jewels website. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to before we go, if you go look these fighters up on Tapology, you'll notice something that 4 of them have in common. There are 4 fighters on this event fighting out of AACC, which is the Abe Ani Combat Club. If you are a female fighter in the Far East, that is almost like the top team to go train with if you want to train with other ladies, because there are probably more female fighters on that team than any other team in Asia. So definitely keep an eye out on the AACC fighters. I'm actually thinking of working a video talking about them and I want to say American Top Team. Seem like the 2 top teams in the world that train the most female fighters. I'll have to look up the numbers just to be sure. But definitely keep an eye out on the AACC fighters anytime you see that name come up. That's Abe Ani Combat Club. So that is it for the lineup for Deep Jewels number 32. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. Now, if you like the video, please give it a like, and while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.